I think so.
I can never figure it out. I mean, am I live, but nobody sees me until 18 seconds after I'm live? So I think we're about ready, don't you, Chris? What do you think? Do you think 18
Well, I think
seconds?
they're just going to play catch up.
Do you think 18 seconds has gone by yet? All right. So
yes, you are live.
I am going in. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Oh boy, oh boy. So first of all, before we begin, let me say good morning to my spirit guide, Great Eagle, who is always, as always, standing to my right side, is laughing at me. And this morning we have my lovely friend Chris, who comes on and helps me with this stuff. Say good morning, Chris.
Good morning, everyone.
And you'll never guess what, everybody. We've been having the most difficult time trying to fix what we're doing here. We've gone with Restream now for I don't know how long, a number of times anyway. And we love it, except that we've not been able to figure out how to get comments, how to get Chris or anybody in to help me with your questions and comments without them being on the screen. But Restream, those people at Restream are amazing. They've been great to us. We put in our questions, we've gotten answers, and this is the result. So Chris, you're in a little box, aren't you?
I am.
So for those of you, you can see me on camera, but what you can't see is the behind the scenes. So behind the scenes, Chris is in a little box, and she can see all of your questions. She can scroll. We're keeping our fingers crossed now that she can scroll up and down, because the way we've been doing it before, Chris has had to be on a computer, on her iPhone and something else, and then I've had to be on my phone and my iPad. Anyway, we're just using this one. I'm just using my iPad. Chris, are you using your laptop or something?
I am on my laptop, and it's working just perfectly.
Great. Now, I want to ask you a question before we go any further. Can you scroll up and down?
I can. It's a miracle.
So, everybody listening out there, we shouldn't have any more trouble. Look, this is what you have to understand. I am not technically minded. I know nothing. Chris is far more technical or knowledgeable about technical stuff than I am, but that's not to saying a great deal, is it, Chris?
Hey!
Well, you're better than I am, thank goodness. At least somebody here knows what they're up to. But it's quite interesting, this stuff, but we think we've figured it out. So for those of you who've come on before and you've been frustrated because you haven't had your questions answered, or we seem to have gone by you and ignored you, it's not that at all. It's just that with the questions, they freeze on us and we can't scroll up and down, and because obviously we've not been doing it the right way. But now we think we've got it. What do you think, Chris? By George, do you think we've got it?
I do, and you have so many people waiting on Facebook and through Twitter and through YouTube, and they're ready to go.
Yay! Well, I'm ready to go when you're ready to go, but I do want to just mention, because I'll probably forget it otherwise, I want to mention, first of all, that if you want to be part of my webinars, save the date. We've got the date. We're working on the price. It's not going to be a huge amount of money. You know, it's all relative, isn't it? If you're a pauper, it's a lot of money. If you whatever. Anyway, so we're going to try and make it affordable for everybody. And we are going to be doing, hopefully, our first webinar on the 24th of October. So put that in your calendars, everybody, and wait for the news. If you want a rush on it, or you want to know sort of pretty much straight away, if you email us, Rosemary at rosemaryantaltea.com and say, we want to know more about the webinar, or can you put our name down for the webinar? Then you can email us and tell us that. And as soon as we have the information, which will be in the next, dare we say, few days, Chris? Dare we? Dare we say a few days?
Let's be on the safe side, because you've got a couple of things you've got to work out in the background. Let's say no more than a week.
Yeah. So within the next week, we should have not only the date, but we should have the prices. We should have the place where you need to go in order to book your tickets, and all of that other stuff. So we'll be giving you more information on that over this next coming week. And but I'm just saying, finally, you have no idea. Look, again, I'm going to say we're not technically minded. Sorry about that. I'd love to have somebody volunteering to come and do all my technical stuff for me. I'm throwing it out there. Am I throwing it out to all of you who are listening, or am I throwing it out to the universe? I'm going to do both. Anybody who'd like to volunteer their services for our technical side of things, we'd love to have some input on that. Anyway, throwing that out there. Let's see, what have I been doing today? As you can see, because the picture is still behind me, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, what actually is that picture? If I told you, I'd have to kill you. You know that phrase? It's actually a portrait of my daughter, but it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, that's that. I'm still at my daughter's home, and it was supposed to be sunny and bright this morning. They've gone off swimming. It's going to rain for about a half an hour, maybe even only 10 minutes, and then hopefully this afternoon the sun's going to come out. We hope. And so I'm still here and enjoying being here and meeting friends and seeing different people. Yes, it's COVID, I know, but we're very careful who we have come to the house. We're very careful, to make sure that people have been checked for COVID and so on, because the last thing I want is to get it. Oh, wait, I've already had it. Look at me. I'm fine. I'm well. I'm healthy. And so we can overcome these things. It's all about having the right mindset, having the right attitude, not getting scared of things that are going on, and understanding that this is part of nature. It's part of the natural order of things. Having said that, but I forgot to turn my phone off. I can't believe that. Having said that, Chris, over to you, my darling. What have we got?
Well, you have all kinds of people from so many different countries popping on, plus
Really?
many states in the U.S. So they're all giving you greetings. Michelle starts us off right away with any message from my dad in spirit, please.
Michelle, I'm going to leave it. We might come back to it. You all know that, this is only an hour-long show. We've got tons and tons of people. I do thank you, Michelle, for asking. And I do love the fact that you're watching the show. And if we have time, we'll get back to it. Maybe there will be, maybe there won't. I hate giving these, look, how about if I just say to you, I'm sure it's fine, which I am actually sure it's fine. I'm not making that up at all. But when I give messages from the spirit world, I like to give a little bit more detail. I mean, we can all say, oh, yes, it's fine. Or we can all say, oh, yeah, I can see your daddy's here. But you don't want me to do it if it's not real, do you? So I'd like to get through some more questions before we take questions like that one. And if we have time, we'll come back to them. I'll ask Grey Eagle. We'll have a look and see what we can see, if we can see anything at all. And I think we'll do it that way, Chris. So okay. Don't be disappointed, Michelle. We've got an hour. Chris.
Annie's on. She says, Rosemary, thank you so much for being patient with me and my loan. You were right on the button. I got the loan.
Oh. Like to tell us a bit more? What did I tell you? I must have told you, Annie, that you got the loan. I do remember. Yes, I do remember a little bit about this, Annie, because you've had a bit of a rough time, haven't you? And it's been really, really tough for you. And there are all sorts of family stuff, if I remember correctly, going on. I'm not being psychic when I'm saying this, I'm just remembering some of what Annie has said to us before. But I think, Annie, you were very, very unsure and you really needed this loan to come through, and you asked me, will it or won't it? I'm so glad for you. Just be careful though, my darling. You know, it's all very well having loans and taking out money, but just be careful, because you get yourself in some trouble. So don't think, oh, I've got the loan and now I can spend it. Be careful with it, would you? Okay, Chris.
Isabella's on.
Morning, Isabella. I love that name.
Hello, my mom Adele is an elderly lady born in April of 1941. My grandfather, Angelo, that's my mom's father, died in 1941. He was a soldier fighting in Russia. When he died, they wrote missing. So my grandmother, Ermelinda, never knew if her husband, Angelo, died or not. Would you know how to help my mother to understand how her father died and when he died? Is it possible that my grandfather had other children with another wife in another country in his past?
Goodness. I was going to ignore this because it's complicated. Wow, it is complicated. But actually, Gregor has his hand on my shoulder. First of all, to talk to your mum. I think you said she was elderly. What is she? 74, 75 or something? No, 70. Wait a minute. 78? That's not elderly. She's a spring chicken. She's got lots of time. Goodness. You know what they say? The new 40 is 30. The new 50 is 40. Hey, the new 70 is 60. So I bet your mom is a bright and sparkly thing. I'm told she's got really, really nice eyes. And apparently she's had a lot of distress about this for a long, long time. So I'm hoping that I can alleviate the issues right now with about your grandfather. And according to Grey Eagle, she should say 1941. That was sort of, we were in two or 3 years into the war by then. The war started in the war, meaning the Second World War, started in 1939. So it was 2 years into the war, a brutal war, and in Russia. I think you said in Russia. I am told by Grey Eagle that there was no one else. As far as I can tell you, there is no other family, no one else. And I'm going to actually say that I believe, from what Grey Eagle tells me, that this lovely man was killed in action. Awful, because so many men were killed and nobody even knew. There were no graves, there was nothing going on to let people know whether they'd survived or not. And yes, and it's possible, you know, there are so many people who died during, who got went missing or got lost during the war, who suffered with amnesia, or sort of, you know, all those war-torn stories that we hear. But I do believe that the man you're seeking this information on, according to Grey Eagle, his passing was really very sudden, very quick. And yeah, that's as much as I can tell you now. I hope that helps you. And hey, stop treating this lovely lady like you said elderly. I'm heading that way myself. I'm not elderly. So hey, you know, the new 70 is 60. That's all I can say, and I'm sticking to that. Keep going, Chris.
All right, let's just mention we have some folks from Italy right now that are showing up, but their written word is not in English, so we can't help them in that way, unfortunately.
All right, if you are trying to connect with me and your language is not English, click on your whatever it is. What is it, Chris?
They could go to Google Translate and
Go
paste
to
it in.
go to Google Translate. But we don't. Chris does not speak Italian. I speak a little, but I certainly don't read it. So if you want to connect, please translate before you ask your question. And it's a really simple thing to do, because you just go to Google Translate and you click on it and it translates everything sort of pretty much accurately. So please, my lovelies, try and do that. We don't speak Italian. You don't speak English, but we've got Google Translate. I do hope they understand what it is I'm saying, Chris. Keep going.
Let's hope so. Cheryl would like to know, what happens on the other side to people who were evil here?
Good morning, Cheryl. If you have read my book, Soul Signs, you will see that there are, in fact, dark souls who do come to this earth for the same reason that those of us who are of the light do, to learn, to grow, to become more of who they are. And then when they pass, they go back to that dark side. Are we talking? We have to be careful though, because there's evil, and then there's truly dark evil. If someone is a dark soul, they will not go to the light. They will go to that dark side, which is where they came from. It's such a big subject, this, but I'm going to suggest if you get my book Soul Signs, and you can find it if you email us, we'll tell you exactly where to get it from, or you can go to Lulu, I think it's LULU, lulu.com. You go in there, put my name in, and all of my books will come up that they have, and Soul Signs is the one, and there is a whole chapter and the whole description of what a dark soul is, what they do, how they do it, so on and so forth. So but if somebody is just simply born of the light, but let's say gone dark or enticed into those dark areas, dark realms and so on, we all have an opportunity, as we are traveling, we always have an opportunity to go to the light or go to the dark. And so, the only thing is that when we go to the light, as we all have to do, we stand in the light and we see ourselves as we really are. We see ourselves for who we really are. There's no hiding from ourselves. And in some ways, that is the judgment, that is the punishment that we have to deal with. Big subject. Thanks for the question, though, Chris.
Joe is on.
Morning, Joe.
The 8th marks my 68th birthday and the 14th anniversary of the death of my son. I have never seen him in a dream or message. My daughter has dreams with him all the time. He doesn't have a specific question, but I'm looking for your guidance.
Okay, Joe, isn't it frustrating when you can't or don't see, or when somebody else sees and you so want to do? First of all, I have to tell you, that he's going to be waiting for you. You've got a while to go, don't worry. We just talked about elderly, and I think you said you were 68, and hey, you're a silly spring chicken. I think that, I think a lot of people don't realise this about you, Joe, and I think it's your fault in a way, but you don't like to show your emotions or share your emotions too much, do you? You sort of like to be stoic. You like to be that, that guy who deals with everybody else and is the person in the family who can handle stuff. But underneath it all, you're a bit of a lovely, lovely jelly. The problem is that when we are this sensitive, we can often tend to sort of block things because on a subconscious level, we're afraid that, and let's say you, I think, perhaps are afraid, what would happen if he actually came and stood in front of you and you saw him? Oh, would you go to pieces? You're afraid of that. You're afraid of showing your emotions. You're afraid of, sort of because you feel so much and you feel the pain so much, and so many people don't realize this about you, that you're afraid. So we tend to, on a subconscious level, we tend to block it because we're so afraid. Here's the deal, Joe. If you fall to pieces, so what? You fall to pieces. You'll pick yourself back up and get back on your horse and get on with it again, won't you? So, I think there's a fear on a subconscious level. I think you're fearful not of seeing your son, because I think you want to do that, but I think you're fearful of the emotions that it might bring up and whether or not you'll be able to deal with it. I think you should let your guard down a little bit, be a little bit more open. It will happen once you're open and once you face the fear that, so if I cry, so what if I'm emotional, so what if it hurts like heck, so what, I'll get over it, I'll deal with it. And I think once you let go and just let God help you with that, let go and let God, I think, you will catch glimpses of your son, because I think he's with you, he visits with you so often. You just have to let the shield up, let your guard up, my darling, and he'll be there for you. And aside from which, he's going to be waiting for you anyway, don't you? And I'm so sorry for all of you out there who are parents who have lost your children, because quite frankly, I think it's the worst kind of loss. I don't know how you all cope with it. I really don't. You're very much braver than I. Thank God I've not had to deal with that, and I keep my fingers crossed. I hope to God that I never do have to do that. But you're so brave, all of you. Just to get out of bed every morning has got to be one of the most difficult things that you do, and you just keep on doing it. So good for you, Joe. You're stronger than you think you are. Let your guard up, darling. Let it happen. Chris.
Annie saying, Rosemary, do you have a little message from Chloe? I miss her so much.
Not right now. Not right now, Annie, but I'm sure she's fine.
Very saying,
hold on just a second, because I'm seeing a dog here. I'm sure Chloe isn't a dog, but I'm seeing a dog here wagging its tail. I have no idea, Annie, if this means anything to you. But anyway, I'm seeing animals all over the place here. Chris, keep going.
All right. Vera's saying, hello, Rosemary, and Vanya's blowing you a kiss.
Who is?
Vera said hello.
Morning, Vera.
And Vanya is blowing you a kiss.
Oh, all to you guys.
All right. Bright Star saying, lovely to see you. I will be happy to join the webinar. I'll send you an email with a comment and wait for your answer. Lots of love from Holland.
Oh, great. Thank you. Good. Do we have our first webinar guest? Yoo-hoo!
That's very exciting.
It is really exciting. The webinar is going to last at least a couple of hours, we think, and what can you do in an hour? You can't do very much in an hour, so we think we're going to. I wanted to do 3 hours, but apparently the norm is 2 hours. Hey, maybe you could let me all know. Should I do a 2 hour or a 3 hour? Anyway, let's keep going, Chris. I've got an itchy nose. Does that mean I'm going to be vexed? Hope not.
Nathan said there's a lot of dissent in America today. Do you see any change for the better for this country in the near future, before or after the cataclysmic pole shift, especially an exodus by us circa 2025?
Golly, that's a little complex for me, Nathan. Good morning, though, darling. I do love you. I love you coming on my show and asking me all these tough questions. You're right, there is a lot of negativity in America, but there's an awful lot of negativity all over the world. And I think, somehow or another, the world seems to have gone into a big slump. Some of it is due to COVID, but I think it's so hard when we're going through an epidemic like we've been through, because I'm seeing it tailing off, despite what the newspapers tell us. I don't believe anything that anybody says anymore about COVID. I really, not that I don't believe that we had COVID. I do. But honestly, the reports and the fact that hospitals get paid for every patient who dies of COVID, they get X amount of money. And so why should they put heart attack when they can put down COVID? I'm just so disgusted with the way that things are running right now. And I'm not going to blame Trump, and I'm not going to blame whoever is on the other side, because I just think it's the way things are going at the moment, and there's so much I don't know, so much cheating and lying that is going on, and a lot of that comes from high up, from those government officials, from those government people who are in charge of everything. And so you might think I'm talking in the negative at the moment. I'm actually talking in the positive, because I just refuse now to believe anything that I read. I don't believe the numbers anymore at all. I think that, you know, there's just, I mean, it's been proven to me over and over again, in small ways and in larger ways. Gregor has his hand on my shoulder here, because he's totally agreeing with me that a lot of this has been manufactured. The riots and all the rest of it, manufactured. I mean, just, I'm being positive here, because I'm refusing to buy into it, and I'm just getting on with my life. I'm not allowing fear to freeze me. I got on a plane to come to New York. I would do the same. I'm actually going to get on a plane, go back to Florida sort of in the next week or so. So, hey, come on, everybody. Let's have a positive reaction. Let's stop allowing all of these officials and all of these people who are ahead of different departments in the government. Let's stop allowing them to dictate our attitude. If we can stop allowing them to dictate our attitude, then the world will become lighter, it will become more lifted, and we'll be able to, you know, beat this negativity that seems to be surrounding us right now. And, you know, the news, the newspapers, of course there are some fabulous newsreaders, of course there are some fabulous reporters, of course there are people out there reporting the truth, but unfortunately, you know, they get mired in all of the other stuff. You know, it's just I refuse to let it be dumped onto me. So I'm just getting on with my life, and I hope you all get on with your lives. Chris, what do you say to that, Chris?
Oh, I don't think the show is long enough, Rosemary. But Lucy's on. She's saying, good morning from sunny, hot Phoenix.
Oh, one of my most favorite places in the world. I love Phoenix. I'm hoping you're thinking Phoenix, Arizona there. Good morning, Lucy. I love Phoenix. And of course, you've got the Superstition Mountains there, and Greg was so excited. Maybe that's why I was putting his hand on my shoulder, anticipating the next question. So I went there. Greg was very much involved. You know, the Apache are a nomad, so they travel all over, but their home was pretty much, or their escape was pretty much, the Superstition Mountains. I've had some wonderful experiences there. What do you want, my darling?
Well, nothing yet, but Janet's on. She said, I'd love to know if I'll find a job soon.
Oh, gosh, Janet. Well, let me see. The answer is yes. Not as soon as you would want, but yes. How about that? Chris, keep going. Keep coming.
Mark says, Rosemary, I know that my spirit guide directs me along with receiving a port from my dad. I'm in a quandary because I've been waiting to do my kitchen demolition, and I ask if Grey Eagle knows if I will be able to afford this, and will the person chosen be financially fair? I'm fearful I won't have enough money to do this. I've been waiting for this person's bid, and it seems to be hesitating, and I'm being patient. What can you share? I'm quite dismayed.
Well, aside from the fact that, you know, I do thank you for the question, by the way. And aside from the fact that, you know, I've got Grey Eagle here, I'm a I've been involved with demolition. There's not a house that I've bought. I bought a lot of houses in my lifetime, and there's not a house that I bought which I didn't demolish one way or another, or renovate in some way. So this is what I know. This is from me, and then we'll get to what Greg will suggest that you should do. This is for anybody out there who's planning on having anybody come into their home to build something, to change something, to alter something, even to come and fix your washing machine. Don't allow them to come in unless you are there with them, unless you are prepared to stand over them night and day and watch everything that they do. When I had my house in Vermont renovated, the builders used to hate me because I would come up the stairs. They called me Hawkeyes, because I would see and watch everything that they did, and I would catch pretty much every little mistake and make them fix it. You can't rely on anybody else. You cannot really trust anybody else. There are some builders who are fantastic and they're really, really honest, but they have workers who maybe are not, or maybe are lazy, or maybe want to take a shortcut. So it really is going to be up to you to absolutely be a Hawkeye, watch every single thing that they do. And also, people give you a quote. It's a sensible thing to do, but how often do they stick to it? Very, very rarely. So it's up to you, really. You've got to be on the ball here, and you've got to be able to, to be paying attention every day and every week. You want an accounting, and if you see that they're going over budget, you hold them back, and you've got to be responsible. So Gregor is nodding. You actually will get his you will get it done slower than you think, which is the right way. And instead of having perhaps one builder overseeing it, perhaps you should get individuals who will in the long run be a lot less expensive, who can do a lot of the work without having that certificate that says, I'm a builder, therefore I can charge you $50 an hour or $100 an hour, whatever it is. So, if you're having to wait for someone to get back to you, that you don't want them. You want somebody who's eager to do the work for you. You want somebody who's on the ball and eager to do the work for you, because even if they say to you, can't do this for 3 months or 6 months, that doesn't mean they can't give you a quote right now. So, so you got to be your own advocate here, baby. Sorry. Chris.
Pat's wondering, when did Rosemary have COVID-19?
Oh, February. For those of you who can recall, it's a long time ago now. I was so sick all of February and the majority of March, and it felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest, the thing, etc., etc. I was so ill. Yes, it was a struggle, but I'm a very strong person and very strong-minded. So, I dealt with it, and I, obviously had some medication, but I refused to go to the hospital. I wouldn't go near a hospital because, quite frankly, people are being diagnosed with COVID in hospitals when they don't even have COVID, just so you know. And I have that as a fact. So anyway, let's move on, Chris, from that. But you recall, Chris, I was not a happy camper, was I? I was very sick, right?
You're always amazing when you're sick, because somebody will say, how are you? And you can be on your deathbed saying, I'm fine. So, yeah.
Well, actually, I wasn't on my deathbed when I had COVID, but I totally lost my voice. I couldn't breathe properly. And even when people were, sort of FaceTiming me, they'd hear this, I could hardly speak, but I was still saying I'm fine because I'm a positive thinker, So everything is about attitude, really. Chris, keep going, darling.
Catty, Katty,
Catty
says, I'm grateful to receive signs, tingles, touches, and even pulses and vibrations
Oh,
from my husband who crossed over last year. I daily meditate and sit in the power, wanting to open and develop my clair senses. Are there any tips you can provide to help all of this in this endeavor?
um, well, I can tell you that one of our workshops will be certainly about how, helping people to become more in tune, to become more aware. My classes, my online classes, are about raising your level of consciousness. And of course, my classes go on week after week, month after month. In a webinar, we can't do that, but certainly we can give lots of tips and lots of helpful advice as to how we all can, in fact, raise our level of consciousness and how we do it and how we go about it. And here's the thing: when we're on this earth plane and we're all here, we got the TV going, or we're playing computer games, or we're on the phone, or we're doing something. We're so busy into our technology, as you all are this morning. We're so busy into our technology that we forget that before all of this technology, and when we first came to this earth, we were so much more in tune. I mean, if you look at all of the ancients or the ancient cultures that didn't have that technology, they were in tune with the earth, they were in tune with themselves, they were in tune with their own soul, they were in tune with the, that phenomenal sort of universal energy that is out there. And so in order to get back to it, we do have to switch everything off for at least 10 minutes a day. I know some of you can't do it, but please try. Sort of empty your mind and sort of learn how to meditate, learn how to become much more in tune with your soul, learn how to listen to the heartbeat of your soul. So so I can say to you right now in this moment, because we're here for an hour and there are a lot of people here, I can say that in this moment in time, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing a little bit more of it. Find 10 minutes of every day if you can, and just sit and be. Stop looking for signs. Don't worry about that. Don't say, well, I'm sitting here, if you show me a sign, give me a sign. We're all tempted to do that, aren't we? All of us are so tempted to do that, myself included. But sort of spend that time. Get away from your computers, take a walk in nature, sit on a stone somewhere. We had in Vermont, we had these two beautiful sort of, you could call them small lakes or large ponds, whatever they were anyway. We had two of these, and on one of them there was giant, enormous, beautiful stone, natural stone, that sort of went half into the water, but it was half on the edge of the lake there. And my daughter used to go there sometimes when she was in a mood, or if she wasn't, if she was not happy about something. I named it the Sulking Stone, but actually it was the perfect place to meditate. It was the perfect place to sit. Find a place that you can find, just to find that peace within you, so that you can become really, really quiet and really still inside. You know what I'm talking about. Become really, really still inside, and then things will happen. Chris.
Sue's saying, I need messages today from my loved ones if possible, especially for the message I sent you on Messenger. Thank you.
Well, I hate to say this, Sue, but we have a few Sues. You've got to be a little bit more clear. And so I can't help you, because this is a bit of a cryptic message here. We do have at least 3 Sues and Susans who are messengering right now. So it could be any one of those. So it's a little bit vague for me. Chris, keep going.
Jan says, good morning.
Good morning,
I have a comment/question.
Sorry?
I have a comment/question.
Go for it. You're a little bit, I'm having a little bit of a difficult time hearing you, Chris. If you could, I don't know if you can turn the sound up a bit, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, we're having comments from our friends saying I'm louder than you are. So I'm trying to back up from the computer, which isn't helping you. So I'll try to find a medium here.
Okay, all right.
I believe my life path was to support a dear friend as he prepared to pass. I grieve his loss and struggle to move on. COVID isolates us. Any suggestions?
Yes, you know, you're saying that COVID isolates us, and so I can see why you would say that. However, um, I think that in so many ways we isolate ourselves. We are so afraid to go out. We're so afraid to take a step outside. We're so afraid to have our loved ones come to visit us. I know, I know that it's necessary to protect ourselves, but um, there are so many things now. There's Messenger, there's FaceTime, there's I don't know, Facebook. There's so many mediums now. Look at us here. We're connecting with all of you out there, and although I mean I live on my own, and so I've been spending all of these months mostly by myself. Occasionally with a friend who comes over, we take careful precautions. We're not stupid about what we do, but there are so many things that you can do to help you with that isolation, with that feeling of isolation. So you need to sort of, if like me, I claim I'm not a technical person. I'm definitely not. But if I have to, I will learn how to use FaceTime. I will learn how to use these certain things that are, I mean, heaven sent to us right now, really. I mean, we are in my group, in one of my classes, we're actually setting up, a party night where we all get together, right, Chris? We all get together and we we have a party and everybody comes, and some people come with dinner, and some people come with recipes, and some people just come with a drink, or some of us just come, hey, to just hang out. And it's the next best thing to sort of having a dinner party, which we can't do right now. But honestly, there is no need to feel as isolated as so many of you are. So please, check into all those other things that you can perhaps do. Before I came to New York, I spoke to my daughter several times a day, my grandson at least 3 times a day, every night before we go to bed. We have a little time together, and I say good night to him. That makes me feel a part of the family. It makes me feel a part of things. So just there's an app that you can get, and I think it's called House Party. There are a trillion of these apps that you can get, where you can get together as a group of people, a group of friends. There's Zoom, of course. We use Zoom, right, Chris?
Yes.
So there's lots and lots of things to do. So you don't need to feel so isolated. You just have to think of what you can do and how you can do it, so that you don't feel so awful about being by yourself. And also, keeping busy helps as well. Chris, keep going.
Elizabeth says, good morning, lovely Rosemary.
Good morning, my darling.
I wanted to know if my son Simone, who is 21, will make his dream come true to work as a professional DJ. Now, he is working so hard to realize it. Thanks.
Let me see. So I'm listening to Grey Eagle, and so here is some advice for him. So it's not just that he wants to be a DJ. He's very musically inclined. That doesn't necessarily mean he's a musician, but he knows so much about music. So I do feel that he will realize his dream, but I think there's a bigger dream beyond that, and being being involved in the music world and being involved in that side of things. And I think he should, yes, he can be a DJ. I think he'll be a good DJ. I think he'll do really well at that. But there is more coming beyond that. So if you can advise him that this is the first stepping stone to a bigger dream, I think that's lovely. Yes, Chris.
Anisha says,
Morning, Anisha. Nice name.
confirmation on my last visit when I asked about my mom, Vivian. She came through when I called my insurance company to make a payment, and the customer rep called me Vivian. That mistake let me know that my mother is around me, and I immediately remembered what you said in your answer to me. My hair stood up, and I explained my experience with you to the rep and referred her to your page. Thank you a million times over. I am very grateful.
Wow, thank you, sir. Thank you for letting us know that. I just want to point out one little detail that I think you might have gotten wrong. You said, I think you said that she called me Vivian by accident, and we all know there are no accidents, don't we? So I think it was something that was absolutely meant to be, and I think that someone was putting that little thought into her head. I wonder if it might have been your mother doing that. I'm so happy for you. And thank you for recommending people to come to our page. And if you could, all of you out there, we love having you. We love having your questions and so on. But we are trying to build a bigger space. We are trying to build more. Can you share for me, please? I keep forgetting to say that at the end of every show, but it would be great if you could share your experiences, share the show. Just click the share button, when you're done, or you're into Facebook or what have you. I think there's even a share on YouTube. So just please click share so that we can get out and about there and let people know that we're around. Chris, keep going.
Lucy says, a lot of times when I just tune in, I have a question in my head and you seem to answer. Like this morning, I was thinking back to when you were sick, wondering if it was COVID, and now you just talked about it. Or I was going to ask a question about my dad, and your question from another person was about her dad, Angelo. That was my dad's name. So I take away that my dad was being sneaky by getting his name mentioned. Laugh out loud.
I think it's wonderful. I do tell people when I go into theatres, into large audiences, live audiences, but it applies the same way, whether it's live, whether we're sort of using this technology, whatever it is that we're doing. Very often when I give a message to one person, that message doesn't necessarily only apply to that person. It can apply to other people in the audience. So when you're listening to a medium, when you're listening to the messages they give, please pay attention, because they might say something that, we don't have time to get to everybody, but wait a minute. And just happened, we can see, Angelo was sneaky about that, wasn't he? Good for you, Angelo. I love it. Chris.
Adrian says, good morning.
Good morning.
Before I was born, my mom was pregnant and had a miscarriage. Can you let me know if the baby was a boy or girl and how they are doing? How old would they be in heaven now?
Well, I'll give you this then. I'm a little bit surprised about this, but Gregor is tickling my ears, so I know I have to pay attention. I'm going to say that you are twin souls. So your twin boy, a man now, is your age and following in your footsteps. So you have a twin soul out there who is that person who is helping, guiding, and steering. How fantastic is that? How wonderful is that? And being shoved in the shoulder. You know, sometimes I hear information or Greg gives me information. I'm thinking, now, am I correct? Is that the name of this this now young man who passed as a baby, or is this anyway? So, and I do my level best to try to be accurate, but I'm not going to be. Greg gave me a shove on the shoulder. I sort of really felt pushed to go on and say it. So I'm going to say that the name of your twin soul is, if I had a boy, I would have called this my boy John. And so anyway, so I'm telling you that's the name of this boy. So you know, not only now have his gender, and you not only now have his name, you also have the knowledge of this fabulous twin soul who is really, really close to you. Chris.
Vicky says, Rosemary, should I move? Is it the right time?
No. That came whooshing in there. Didn't expect Greg to answer so quickly. I think you need to hold off, my lovely, just for a little while. I don't think it's the right time yet. And I think that the reason I think it's not the right time is I'm seeing a lot of issues around you, a lot of emotional stuff going on, and your head is not quite straight yet. And you should never, ever make a big decision like moving until your head is really on straight and you know what exactly it is that you want to do. You're going back and forth at the moment on deciding where your life should go. You're a little bit lost. Stay steady, darling. You will move, but stay steady and wait for the right time. You'll know it when it happens, because you have no doubts left at all. Chris.
Janet says, I was in a really bad job situation and let go. Will I find another job soon?
Oh, there are so many people out there who are looking for jobs and so on. And didn't we just answer this question earlier? So yes, I'm going to say yes. However, it won't be as soon as you would like. But yes, hold in this. You know, hang on in there, my love. It will happen. Keep going, Chris.
Amy says, Soul Signs is an amazing book.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. We'd love to know why you think that it's an amazing book. I know it's an amazing book. A few weeks ago, it was so funny because I was talking about soul signs on one of the shows, and we were talking about it and people commenting and so on. And we had this lovely person who wrote in and said, can you give me the name of the author? And do you remember that, Chris?
I do.
It was, it's me. It's me. I'm the author. And if you do want to know more about soul signs or where to get it from, you can go to lulu.com, put in my name and find it there, or just email me again, rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. How are we doing for time, Chris?
We still have 7 more minutes, but you still have quite a few people.
Well, I have to worry about you and your time, so I'll keep going until you tell me to stop.
Okay.
All right.
Michelle has
Can everybody hear me clearly now, do we think? What do we think, Chris?
Well, that'll be at the bottom of the line of people waiting, so I won't see it quite yet. I haven't scrolled down there quite yet.
Okay, keep going, my love. I don't want to.
Sorry, Michelle, who started off the program, has kind of asked, "Is this the right time?" for her question.
Not yet. We'll, and maybe not at all. But I haven't forgotten you, Michelle.
Okay, Kitty's saying, "Good morning, Rosemary and Chris.
Good morning.
Can you consult with Gray Eagle on my changing residences? I can't seem to get an answer from Spirit. Thank you."
Well, is this Kitty my lovely student Kitty? Is this our lovely Kitty? So maybe, Kitty, we can have a conversation. You can set it up with Chris, hopefully, and we'll have a conversation a little bit more in depth. And isn't it? It's so unfair, isn't it? My students get more of me than anybody else does. But I can tell you, Gregor is definitely saying move, but I want to hold off, Kitty, and just talk to you a little bit more about it, which we will do. Set up a meeting with Chris. And no, you don't have to pay me. Just keep going, Chris.
Megan is on. She says, "Good morning, Rosemary."
Who is?
Megan.
Megan, okay.
Yeah. Prayers, please, for Jordan Quayle and her sweet baby. She is pregnant. Her sweet fiance went to heaven recently.
Oh, absolutely. We'll definitely, Chris will take a note, and we will definitely put them on our healing list. And please, could you do something for me? Could you email us and let us know how they are doing? I'm so sorry that has happened. But on a more positive note, isn't it wonderful that the baby will have his own angel or her own angel? I never tell the sex of a baby. I really mucked up there a little bit. Keep going, Chris.
All right. Isabella says, "I wrote you an email because you asked me this last time. For now, you have not answered me. How many days do you usually take to reply to an email? Sorry for my English."
I was reading your email a few days ago. I've actually spoken to Michelle, but Michelle is having some little difficulties right now. We should be able to answer your email within a week or two. If we haven't answered your email within a week or two, you need to send it to us again. But sometimes sometimes, especially when I'm away, I need to get back and to take a look at stuff to see where we are and what the email is about and so on. So we haven't forgotten you. And I was actually speaking to Michelle just yesterday about that very thing. So be patient and wait for us to get back to you. Chris.
All right. Suzette. My oldest daughter has been having visits more than ever before. She's hearing them and has felt them. Her roommate heard a man call out her name. Can you and Grey Eagle please let me know who it is? She's frightened and is losing sleep as he's touching her head at night and she feels him standing by her. Thank you for your help.
I'm wondering how old your daughter is, and if you could just let us know that, because my guess would be that she's in her maybe mid to late teens here, which is when we become so much more sensitive and so much more aware. In fact, it's sort of the hormone changes, the energy changes within our body that do this, and many teenagers become so much more sensitive at this time in their lives. I'm asking Grey Eagle. I think the one thing we need to know is it a malevolent person? Because I'm not in any doubt that she sees these things or hears these things. I think it's very common. It's a very common phenomenon. Is it malevolent? No. Is it? Yes. And it's so. Grey Eagle says it is a family. We need a little bit of a longer conversation. If you email me and ask me this question, I'll ask Grey Eagle and I'll see if I can figure it out for you, my lovely. But please tell your daughter. It's easy. Look, I was terrified when I started seeing and hearing things. You all know that story, and if you don't know that story, you need to read The Eagle and the Rose, because it tells you all about my life and maybe this is the thing that you should be doing. Maybe you should give your daughter the book, The Eagle and the Rose, so that she can help, and it'll help her, and it'll help her to understand what is going on with her, and it will help her to become less frightened, less worried about all of this stuff. But if you'd like to email me, I do not think it's someone who is malevolent. I think it's someone who's trying to let her know that everything is fine. And I also suspect with your daughter that either she's having issues or worries over studies or some sort of work or study issues, and I think it's just someone trying to tell her, you know, don't worry, it'll be okay. But it can be scary when you know, when somebody comes out of the blue like that. So please let me know. Email me and let me know. But I would be interested on this show if you can pop it in and Chris can see it. How old is this girl? Because my suspicions are that she's in those years of hormonal changes and energy changes, which make her so much more aware and so much more sensitive to stuff like this. Keep going, Chris.
Desiree says, I'm wondering if you can see a certain career for me in the future and if my dad is around.
Do you know, Desiree, I was not even going to go there, because at this moment in time, it's my time to say, look, this is only a short show, really. I don't have time to give all of this to you. However, Grey Eagle, even as Chris was asking me the question, Grey Eagle was actually telling me that you're good with your hands, and for whatever reason, I feel that you're good with writing or that you're good with words. So maybe that is an area that you want to explore. Maybe that is an area that you want to go into, because I think you're much smarter than you think you are. And also, even as I'm saying all of this, I have this fantastic image, and in fact I can see a man who is standing right next to you, who is he tells me he's your angel in training. I know what that is. I think he's just laughing. He's not really an angel. I think this is your dad, and he's right by your side. Apparently he was at the end, went very suddenly, very quickly, so, and he's blowing you kisses, lots and lots of kisses. So don't be despondent, trust in yourself, know that your dad is with you, and that you do have a career. Look at words. I'm a wordy person. I love words. Chris.
So I wanted to let you know, we are at 12 o'clock. As many questions as you've answered already is about how many you have lined up still to come. So
we don't have another hour, do we?
No, you don't.
Well, it's so your choice, Chris, because you're the one who has to take off, and I'm at your mercy here because, you know.
Yeah, I think we can keep going for a little bit. We'll try our best.
Okay.
Terry says, I agree that a loss of a child is the absolute worst. I fight every day with missing my son, but I know that he would want me to do this.
Oh, Terry, thank you for that. You are such an inspiration. I hope that all of you out there who have lost children do get help and inspiration from all of the rest of you who have the courage and the strength to deal with what the worst thing in the world that can ever happen to anybody. Thank you for that, Terry. Chris?
Shazia says, good day, Rosemary. I want to know about my spirit guide. Is it my father or my mom's father? Thank you. Loads of love and blessings.
What was the last bit?
Is it my father or my mom's father?
I'm going to say actually both. I would not say that they were spirit guides. I would say that they are there guiding you and steering you. That's very different than having a spirit guide. But certainly they are guiding and steering you. And I can say your dad has so much strength for you. Keep going, Chris. We're going to try and get as many questions in as we can, but we're going to, if we can move them along quickly, and my answers are going to be shorter, and because we like to get as many people in as we can, but at the same time, we're human, aren't we, Chris?
All right, so I scrolled too far. There we go. Flower says, morning, so thankful for all you do. Any help for my son Ari before our consultation in a month and a half? Everything changed after his dad James passed. I hope James is okay.
Listen, you keep popping up here. If you are having a consultation, can you just be patient and wait? I know how it must be frustrating for you, my darling, but we'll do everything we possibly can when you come for your consultation. Chris?
A number of people are saying they haven't received emails about the webinar. So I think just by saying you're in the process of getting this all scheduled, if they're on the newsletter, they'll get the message when it comes out. And
yeah, if you look, in order to be on the newsletter, you've got to email me, and then you've got to request. Just because you email me doesn't mean we automatically put you on the mailing list. We don't. You have to email me, rosemary@rosemaryaltair.com. And this is what you do. In the subject line, you put mailing list, and then you request, please put me on your mailing list. At that request, that is what we will do. Once you're on our mailing list, we send notifications out once or twice a month. That's all we do. You're not going to be inundated with emails from us at all, but we will send you notifications. But you must please get on the mailing list. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe. And if you are anywhere else, share, so that we can, get the word out. So that if, you haven't had an email, but a friend of yours who you shared to did get an email, they can tell you, and so on. It's all sort of like, word of mouth here that we try to do this. Save the date of the 24th. We are 24th of October when our first webinar will be going out live. It will be at least 2 hours. It might be a little bit longer, but it will be at least 2 hours. We're in the process now of dealing with. So we've got the date down. We know who we're going to use in order to do it. We're going to be using Zoom. We're also going to be using Eventbrite. Is that right, Chris?
yes.
So you will be able, when we tell you to, it's not organized yet, when we tell you to, just click on Eventbrite and you'll see us there. We'll tell you where to go. We'll tell you what to do. We'll tell you how to do it. I promise you we'll talk you through it. But we're going to hopefully have a lot of fun. We're going to try and do at least one a month. We've already got November's planned, and we've already got December's planned. So, yes, I know. Isn't this exciting? But our first one, I'm not giving you all of the details of the others yet, because I just want you to hold the date of the 24th. If you're interested, it will be in the morning, Saturday morning, if we can get that time spot, because you have to book it through Zoom and you have to book it through all these different avenues. If we can get the spot that we want, it will be between 10 and 12 on a Saturday morning. Who's to say we might go over a little bit? We always do, don't we, Chris? Look, we're going over it this morning. Anyway, please email me and let me know, and share, and let me know. And just keep, just if you have sent an email and you haven't had a reply yet, please send another email. We are just a little group of people trying to do the best we can here. Chris.
Suzette answered your question. Her daughter is 30.
Oh, right. Oh, gosh. That is interesting then. That is very interesting. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it, Suzette. Send me an email. We'll talk about it a little bit. I'll see if I can help you a little bit. Chris.
Cheryl's saying, I'm staying with my sister a bit during her illness.
Yes.
Hope that my being here helps her, and I am hoping our mom sees us together.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I am also not really worried about COVID, though I have airplane travel too.
Good for you. I hope you got my reply, because I did reply to your email. It was one of those things that Michelle wasn't sure how to answer, so I sent my answer to you, and I hope that you got my answer. because you were worried. I think, would your visit do your sister any good? Would it help at all? And I actually said to you, absolutely. And don't ever doubt that your strength, you can share your strength with others. Keep going, Chris.
Vera asks, why are some entities as we see as a black shadow? Why are they black?
They're not actually black. It's that you're looking at them in a different way. Those people in the spirit world who come to us, we'll often see them as perhaps just a bright light, or sort of like this ghostly wispy thing that goes around. They're not like that either, and they're certainly not black. And what it is our perception, the way that we are looking, and the barriers that we put up. So do not think if you see a black shadow somewhere that because it's black, it's got to be dark, it's got to be evil, it's got to be something malevolent or what have you, because that is not the case. It's how we are looking at them, how we see them. And very often, not everybody sees the way I see. Very often when we're seeing, we're not necessarily looking in the right way. We're not necessarily looking using the right energy that we have. It has nothing to do with what they look like. It's our perception, how our way of looking, which needs tweaking. Keep going, Chris.
Annabella asks, if possible, I would like to ask something. I felt that medication for PTSD is hindering me from actually feeling, so I have now stopped and feel much better. Do you also think that medication disrupts this kind of waking up in the spiritual world?
Well, first of all, let me tell you that as a healer, I would recommend anybody and everybody to go to see their physician. I am not a doctor. So if a doctor has put you on medications that you feel are not right for you, you go back to your doctor and you say, I want this revised, or I want to see somebody else, or refer me to somebody else. And if they won't, leave that doctor's practice and go somewhere else and be your own advocate in this. I personally, I was having this conversation just yesterday. I don't take medications of any kind. If you see me taking an aspirin or a Tylenol or something, you know then that I'm in pain, because it's the only time, if I'm really severely in pain, usually with my back, my kidney stuff, if I take a pill, it is because I'm really struggling. But I take them as little as possible, that I deal with it. Again, attitude goes a long way. I'm nervous to tell you to come off of your medications, but there's no doubt about it. Our medications interfere with who we are, how we're feeling. They interfere with our energy. If you are in any doubt of your medications, any of you out there, please, 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 please be your own advocate. Go back to your doctor and say, hey, this isn't working for me, or this combination isn't working for me. I need you to figure out something else for me. And also, as you do that, remember that there are some great herbalists out there. There are some, great places that you can go to. Be careful. Always check in with your doctor. Always check in with the medical profession. I'm a healer. I believe in alternative therapies, alternative medicines. However, had it not been for the medical profession, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to all of you. They saved my life, again and again, actually. So please, if you have an issue with your medications or your doctor, do something about it. Be your own advocate, and please either go back to them and say, this isn't working, figure something else out. Don't be afraid. Just because they've got a white coat and a stethoscope does not make them all knowing and all seeing. Doctors, people tend to think that they are God and their word is law, and no, not at all. Doctors make mistakes just like everybody else, so please be your own advocate. It's so important. This question is so important, I think. And Chris, I know you have an opinion on it as well.
Well, I think honestly, it'd probably be best to just keep going with the questions, because you just have so many. All right.
Yep.
Iman says, I have been waiting to hear from my husband who passed away 9 years ago. I am open and waiting. Any suggestions?
You need to find a good medium, or you could go along to a spiritualist church and hope that there's a good medium on who maybe can connect with him, or you can connect with him yourself. There are lots of things that you can do, but the one thing you must do is to be patient. He will come to you. I actually feel that he has already come to you many, many times. But again, like I said to somebody earlier on, we tend to block out. If something is too painful for us to deal with, we tend to put a block on, or we don't want to get emotional, or we're afraid of being emotional. So we sort of we're on a subconscious level, we sort of put the shield down. So I think you just have to learn to be more open, my love. Chris?
Lucy from Florida wants to know when you may be visiting Florida.
Well, I live in Florida, Lucy, so there you have it. I'm not going to be visiting. I'm going to be going back home in the next week or so. Back to my puppy, back to my life, back to my friends there. Some of you say, back to COVID. There's no COVID where I am. I'm good. There's no COVID in the area that I live in. I live on the west coast of Florida, and I love it, people. Love it. Chris?
Holly's saying, if you remember, you gave a message about apple pie. She's saying, you spoke to my mother-in-law, Viola, who passed over earlier this year, about her suggestions about making her special people pie a few days ago. I would love to send you the pie recipe, but I thought I should ask Viola if it's okay to share the recipe with you first.
Of course it is. I'm telling you. Gregor is laughing at this question. Absolutely. And I do understand why it is your secret recipe. I always used to tell people about my recipes, and I would say, there's in fact, this a few days ago, my daughter's neighbors are lovely people, and so they came over and I made margaritas, and I make very special margaritas. They're just fabulous, but they're intensely strong. So you sip gently, right? So, and I said, there's a special ingredient. This guy said, are you going to tell me what it is? I said, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. And then I started laughing. I said, or you could buy my cookbook, which is Rosemary in the Kitchen, and the recipe's in there. All of my secrets have been revealed in my cookbook. So what can I tell you? Of course you can share the apple pie. Give it to me. Chris.
Vera is saying, I need your prayers. I am sick with bladder and kidney and liver, and my husband Jan has OCD. Can I come on your list? So I will have those added.
You don't even have to ask. Of course. We shall send you healing on a daily basis. If you could sort of email from time to time and just let us know how you're doing, we would love that. Please, keep us updated on your progress, my darling. Oh gosh, look, I'm a kidney and stuff that my sympathies are so with you. What a horrible thing to have to deal with. We shall send you healing on a daily basis, and any one of you out there who needs healing, or if you know of someone who needs healing, please let us know. We shall automatically put them on our healing list. Sorry, we have a team working on it. Gregor and I work on it. We work on it. We send you prayers every day. Keep going, Chris.
Mark says, does my spirit guide speak with Grey Eagle when I am asking you questions? I wonder if my mom who passed last November visits me. Before she passed, she was very present via FaceTime with me, and I asked her to promise me that she would be the first to see me before I saw her. I miss this young 94 woman.
Certainly your mother's there. No, actually, when I'm talking with Grey Eagle, as far as I am aware, he's telling me no, he does not connect with your spirit guide as we are talking. I simply connect with him. But you know that your mother's with you anyway. Why are you asking me that question, young man? You know perfectly well that she's there. And, you know, oh gosh. I always, when we talk about losing our mothers, I always worry a little bit about how my daughter and my grandson are going to deal without me. But we're not going to talk about that because it's tough. But you know, while we're here, we build good relationships, and I make a point of telling my daughter and my grandson every single day, at least once a day, if not several times a day, how much I love them. Chris.
Mary wants to know, does Grey Eagle know Saint Tecumwitha? And is there any message from Grey Eagle for me?
I don't even know what the name is. Grey Eagle has put his hand on my shoulder and is actually, here is the message for you. The message is, you've got to keep doing what you're doing and do more of it. You have beautiful healing hands, so use them. Any more, Chris?
Yeah, a few. I think we're narrowing it down. Megan says, I love and respect you and Grey Eagle. My daughter's dream wedding is set for September 13th in Cancun. It's been heavy on us if we should reschedule as we are approaching. Thoughts from our angels?
I think it's going to be beautiful, and I think it's going to be perfect, Megan. Stop, you know, I can understand why you would be worrying. Look, two people are getting married. They love each other very much. Whether anybody else turns up doesn't really matter, does it, one way or another? They will. I'm not saying they won't. But really, it's those two people getting married. It's their special day. And one way or another, they'll make it absolutely special. Chris?
Okay, Denise says, good morning. When I work out in the morning, faces come through in an abstract painting I hung on the wall. Would you have any idea who these faces are?
If we had lots of time and several hours to talk, yes, I might. But right now, no, I don't. But what a nice thing that's going on there.
Nathan says, Sister Rosemary, is it true every man has been a female and every female a male? Love you. Thanks for all you do.
Oh, Nathan, no, I don't think it is, actually. I don't think it is. And I don't think we worry too much about gender. There's far too much, you know. Anyway, big question, big, long answers. Moving on, Chris.
Paige says, if you are taking questions, I'm just wanting to know if I'll return to the UK to be with my love. I had to return to the US.
I didn't actually hear it. What was that again, Chris? Sorry.
I'm just wanting to know if I'll return to the UK to be with my love. I had to return to the US because of the lockdown in March.
I'm sorry, I still didn't hear the first part of the question. I heard returning to the USA and the lockdown. That's all I heard.
Yeah, so Paige wants to know, first off, are you taking questions? So we know that you are. And her question is, if I return to the UK to be with my love, will I return to the UK to be with my love?
Yes, go for it. Get on with it. Your choice at the end of the day, but yes.
So
anything else, Chris?
Well, there's so many, Rosemary. Unfortunately, you're not going to get through them all.
Come here. Just want to see who's turned up.
Somebody's
so this is
swimming.
My cue. Say hi and bye.
Hi.
Careful, baby. Careful. So I'm sorry, but I've got to go. So many questions. We try to get through as many as we can. The earlier you can get on these shows, the better. The more chance you get of us answering a question for you. So we should be back next week. We should be back on Thursday of next week as usual. Same time, same place. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will also, and for those of you who didn't get your questions answered here, we should be on story time on Saturday morning, again 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 11 a.m. New York time, or is it 4 a.m. British time? Oh golly, anyway, work it out yourselves. We shall be back with a story time. I shall tell you a story time, and we will also be answering as many questions as you can. Let me just remind you, try not to wiggle that about, darling, just for a second. Try not to, I'm sorry, what was I saying? Sorry, my grandson's getting in the way here. If you are struggling and you've emailed me and you haven't heard from me, email me again. If you can, again, I'm going to mention, put the date down. The 24th of October is our first webinar. We're excited about it, Chris, aren't we? So we should be back for story time. There'll be more questions. The earlier you come on, the better it will be, because obviously the first question we get will be, the first question we deal with. So don't give up on us. We love you. I love you very much. Thank you all of you, for being so supportive, so loving, and such wonderful comments and such great questions. And I shall see you next Thursday again for The Spirit World Sees All. And I will see you all, hopefully, on Saturday morning for our story time and more questions. I'd like to say thank you to Grey Eagle. I would also like to say thank you to, the household's gone to pot here. I'd like to say thank you to Grey Eagle. I'd also like to say thank you, Chris. You were wonderful today. I think it worked really well, what we did, right?
Yes, we'll work on the volume issue.
So please, all of you have a very, very blessed rest of the day. And I'll hopefully see you on Saturday, and if not, hopefully I'll see you next week. Don't be afraid to email me. Please be patient with your questions. We'll do our best to get to you as quickly as we can. If you want a consultation, you want to know more about our books or our guided meditations or anything else that we do, please mention in the subject line what it is that you would like, and we'll do our best to answer you as quickly as we possibly can. So that's it. Goodbye.